This is your Solana Daily Debrief. It's 11th of July. We're going to be covering a decent amount of news regarding pricing, why I think Sol could be jumping up a little bit from the price point currently at $142. Also Sanctum news and lots of actionables and a little bit of airdrop news as well. So make sure you stick around to the end. We'll make this as fast as possible. In terms of general prices right now, we're up a little bit, we're down a little bit, we're up, down, whatever. Nothing much here, just crap. But as I mentioned, I'll cover Solana and why I think it could be jumping up soon. Marty Party thinks the bottom is in with Bitcoin. I think it's too early to call this, but all links will always be below, so you can check out your own research there. Key says permanent holders, mostly custodial wallets with no outflows, accumulated 85,000 Bitcoin in the last 30 days. In other words, smart money or maybe bigger money, whale money. They're buying now. They're not necessarily trying to time the bottom. They just have a thesis that if you buy it now for like 55,000, 58,000, whatever it is, it's going to be worth over 100,000 in the future. Quentin has this, showing that Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is at the same levels as January 2023, when BTC was $16,000. This is really, really crazy. You can see the price here. The blue line is price. The red line is like the index. And like things were super, super fearful here. Like January, so in November, FTX rugged. You see that major kind of pump down, and then boom, up we go. So now we've got pretty low levels. Nothing crazy low though. I mean, it's gone lower at other times. So just to keep that in mind, but this was in the previous cycle. If you're going to be in Nashville, July 25th to 27th for the Bitcoin conference, Donald Trump is apparently going to be speaking. And Patience has some bull post hopium for your timeline. So in general, like just bull postings when someone comes out and they say, Bitcoin to $1 million, Solana 10,000, everything up only, blah, blah, blah. And you're left with a feeling of like, oh my goodness, I'm a genius. Bull posting in general, too much bull posting is just, I mean, it probably gets pretty decent engagement, but it will hurt your bags in the long run. But it's good to get some every now and then, and also have a lot of realistic targets in there as well. But this essentially shows why we do pay attention to election cycles, because if you're unfamiliar with politics, and I'm not like hugely familiar, but probably more familiar than most, this is not a left versus right discussion. So stop with the comments on that. I don't have time for them. But basically, when either a new person comes into power or the other person gets reelected, you want to start that off well. So you're probably going to try and do a tax break or get money out to the people to stimulate the economy. So it's like, wow, this is a vibrant economy. I haven't gone back and double checked everything in terms of each of these last elections, but we have been in the 18.6 year property cycle. This is an up only time. 2007, 2008, that was a massive crash. And then in COVID, there was a brief dip. There was like a black swan event. Well, it wasn't a black swan event, but there was a decent dip like March 2020 with Bitcoin, but that was a midterm correction. And that is expected when you follow the 18.6 year property cycle, which leads or kind of is the leading factor with stocks and crypto, at least per some beliefs. So why this is important is when we have an election, the next thing we see is upwards price, because there's more money in the environment, and that goes into speculative assets. So this is all the way back in 2011. I don't know what the price of Sol was, but I wasn't involved, unfortunately. Here we are, election, and then kaboom. That's 2011. This is 2015, still wasn't involved. Here we are, kaboom. This is 2019, I was involved. Here we are, tra-la, kaboom. And this is where we are now. Well, Monday, 25th September 23, November 24. Okay, well, either way, this is where we are now in July. Election debates happening, Q4. The expectation from me is blah, up it goes. Of course, Germany and other governments will have to unload some Bitcoin first to kind of stop that price from going down. Now, Marty Party also has this point, and this is too much hopium for me, and I just think it's unrealistic. I like it because it's always good to have a little bit of this, but just keep in mind that drawdowns, massive drawdowns early on are normal. Ethereum had a 95% drawdown from 2017, and like this was like reached like $1,400, and it came to a low of like $80 or thereabouts. Sol was more brutal, probably because it was really pumped by FTX, leveraged up really, really crazily, and then absolutely brutally from the all-time highs of like 250 down to a low of like $8. It was brutal. But Marty's point here is Sol to 2800 starting soon is possible. This is way too high, completely way too high. But, you know, Sol to 1000 is not necessarily a difficult thing. Roll Paul says like 800 to 1200, I think. Maybe he says a little bit higher. And that guy's fairly switched, like he's super switched on actually. It's far more switched on than like 99% of people in crypto. So there's a little bit of hopium for you. If you're seeing Sol right now and it's kind of going along 140, 130, 150, this is the time when I'm allocating more USDC to buy more, and in a dollar cost average. In a dollar cost average manner over the next like 30 days for most of my USDC. Now this is why in the short term I think Solana is going to do very well. There's 750 million USDC has been minted on Solana in the last 7 days. So you see all this on-chain money come on when people do want to, you know, go into Jupiter, go into DEX and start buying it on the blockchain. They also have longs on or things happening in a centralized exchange, but also on the blockchain deliberately as well. Just that way, it basically allows you to fix any arbitrage. Like if you pump up the price on Binance, you also want to buy it on Solana at the same time, more or less. So when we see a large amount of money that goes onto the blockchain, we generally see the price jump up from there, normally within like a week or two. Onto some Solana news. So remember with FireDancer, the new client, if you can break it or find a bug, $1 million, bounties up to $1 million, max bounty, rewards pool. It ends the 21st of August. You have to KYC and it's live for 40 days. So if you have some white hacker skills, you may as well get amongst this. And I need to stop saying get amongst this. Sanctum news. So Sanctum was in yesterday's Jup LFG, or not LFG call, but in the Jup planetary call. And I've had a few DMs and I've had a quick look in Discord and I've asked a couple of questions. Let me give you the TLDR. All right. So Monday, there's going to be a cloud launch survival guide as it will be launching next week. Then the Jup call will be on Tuesday instead of Wednesday. And they're going to go through Sanctum as well and just talk through some things. The LFG site will be live. The Alpha Vault will open, so you can go and put in some USDC and get Sanctum at a lower price. And I will be doing this. I'll show you how to do it when that's live. I've shown you how to do it before with Uprock, but I'll show you with this as well. This is basically starting at like a tiny price, like the market cap would be like $1 million or something really, really small. However, it's only for like a very small amount of tokens. And then, you know, the price will go up and up. I think the current pre-trading price is like 18 cents on Whales Market. It was like 40 cents. And I did think 40 cents was kind of a little bit too high. It would have been a smart idea to sell some then. But now 18 cents, I think that's, you know, a little bit too low. Cloud launch on Thursday and then a cloud party. So after liftoff on the Jup call, the LFG site will go live. You'll be able to check your airdrop allocations. You won't be able to claim them yet, of course, but you'll be able to check them. Of course, the amount of scammers and spammers that are around, so insane that Sanctum doesn't even allow you to post comments. So just keep that in mind. Be super, super vigilant and basically watch my videos first before you go and click on links if you're new to the space. Now, how was the cloud airdrop actually like distributed? We didn't have all the data until now, but essentially the top wallet earned over 100 billion points. And this is roughly equivalent to holding 1.7 million Sol from the start of Wonderland to the end. The top 25 wallets, so a tiny percentage, earned 20% of Wonderland's EXP, and the top 1% earned 73.6% of all Wonderland EXP. I'm in the top 10%. I'm not in the top 1%. My best rating for a wallet was 1,555. But this is crazy because it's crazy in two ways. So the first thing is there were a lot of just airdrop farmers, which you would expect. But it says the bottom 90% of wallets only made up 6% of the total Wonderland EXP. So if you went in with a small amount, you're not getting anything. Because it was later decided, it's gone through it in a few different points, and people have asked my viewpoint. My viewpoint is let the team do what they want to do. They're doing more things than anyone else has done in terms of like airdrop kind of criteria. But they are doing it in a linear fashion. So those who contributed capital and are rewarded proportionally and fairly, they are being given a decent amount. So because of that, we do have a situation where we have pretty insane potential sell pressure from the bigger whales. And also, they're punishing bad behavior. So if there were Sybil attacks, they have been weeded out to the best of their knowledge. And we're talking over 60,000 wallets. Can't see if we can see it here. I think we can somewhere. But 60,000 wallets will not be seeing any allocation. And you won't be able to check that until the LFG site is actually up where you can check your allocation. So if you log into your profile now, if you've been Sybiling in a way where you're basically funding different wallets and it's been able to be tracked on chain, then you're going to log in and you're going to see 0 cloud to claim. This other post gives it a little bit more context. And this is why it's really hard. So if people want to attack, you can go and jump into Discord and attack. That's fine. I don't think it's worth attacking, but 314,000 wallets, which is incredible. There is no way that there's 314,000 people actually following this. I mean, look, they've got 84,000 followers on Twitter. So we know that a lot of this is Sybiling. Plus, it's also, normal to have multiple wallets. Like I have many wallets, but 60,000 had dust. Another 30K had 0.1 sol and another 60K had 0.3. Now, it's referring to those that are actually in Wonderland, not someone that just holds like a tiny bit of INF or a tiny bit of Jup Sol. They would have actually had to have signed up to Wonderland. So there has been a situation where people have gone out with maybe a bot farm of 1,000 wallets, have put in 0.1 sol, they've gone in with 1,000 wallets, and they have hoped for a tier system where even if you had a small allocation, you're going to get like 200 tokens. And then their goal would be, well, I've got 1,000 wallets, I'll go in, 200,000 tokens is what I'll get. So that hasn't not worked, which is good that it hasn't worked, but that's just an overall view of this. Also, there's people that are upset with the earnestness versus like the amount of capital you put in. The earnestness is what's going to help the community like really, really thrive. The exact method of working out who was earnest and who wasn't, it's hard. Like Jupiter did something with good cats, which was great. Some people would have been allocated too many tokens versus someone that did quite a bit and wasn't. So it's not going to be a perfect system. And anyone that thinks that it's going to be anywhere near perfect, they're just not thinking correctly. The goal is just to make a better system. The system needs to be better and fairer and fairer. And I agree with the earnest system, even if I get nothing from it. If I get nothing at all, I still agree that is a better way than as opposed to just dropping it to airdrop farmers. I was also watching a video from Taiki, the farmer, and I'll link that below. But basically, he was talking to a professional yield farmer. And the system is you go into a dApp and your goal is to try and make 10%, 10 to 20%, because there's so much volume coming in that's like a realistic amount. You go in, you move out, you dump your rewards, you go into the next one. His belief is, this is another video topic, but there'll be a lot of layer 2s pumping up. And if they're decently secure, people are just going to rotate through. And this is more with EVMs, of course, but the same thing would apply with Solana. Capital is going to move in. It's going to be fairly risk-free. They're going to come in. They're going to get an allocation. If it's not vested, and it should be vested for these big whales, in my opinion, we're highly likely going to see some intense sell pressure as these whales want to, make $500,000 or whatever it is they want to do. And then the whales will move their money and they'll move on to the next thing. If you want to check out Shroom's airdrop checker, it's been reworked. It's not going to be perfect, of course, but you can just come in here and you can put in your amount and points. Maybe you've got 200 million. I think the price is like 18 cents. So your airdrop value would be about $712 US. As I mentioned yesterday, the Jup Planetary Call number 20. This was happening yesterday. You can actually watch it. You can watch it on YouTube as well, but there will be clips coming out. A lot of good stuff was covered. The Jup team is definitely shipping. LFG upgrades are coming as well, but we'll just talk about them as we start to see them. Also, the Jupiter's Perps DEX. This has now a new fee mechanism, so it's becoming more and more competitive. It started with a decently high fee, and now it's come down to 0.08 when you factor in the base fee and this amount here. Sometimes it's cheaper to use Drift, or sometimes it's cheaper to use Zeta markets. But of course, there is expectation that if you use Perpstin, it's just an expectation, next Jupanuary, you're probably going to get some Jup tokens. Also, you have until the 31st of July to claim your Jup. If you do not claim it by then, we don't know what's going to happen to the Jup. My expectation is it will just be burnt. I don't think it's going to be transferred to the DAO or anything like that. I just think it's going to be burnt. And there's still millions of Jup that need to be claimed. Camino Finance has increased the incentives with PYUSD. These are very, very decent now. Like at present, there's a little bit of leverage has left the market. So if you go to Lulu Finance, you're going to see that maybe you're earning like 8% or 9%. Whereas if you come in here, PYUSD supply APY is 22%. Now I've already communicated this to someone on the team, but I don't like that there's $90 million worth of liquidity here, but they haven't increased the borrow. So, this is $5 million worth of a borrow, whereas as an example, this is 80 million and 70 million. I understand this is a new token and it should be closer. Like it shouldn't be close like this, but 90 million and then 5 million. I'd really like this to go up. The issue is people are just going to borrow it and then supply it, borrow, supply, borrow, supply, maybe with different wallets or whatever in order to loop it. Whereas I would like to actually use this token in the ecosystem as well. However, this is currently the best thing to do because this is earning 22%. And if we go to liquidity and if we have a look at this, this is earning 22% as well. And this will drop as the TVL increases. Clone Protocol now has a points promotion with Drift. So if you're staking Drift, you're eligible for a multiplier. So if you want to use Clone to buy some Pepe or other non-SPL tokens, non-Solana tokens, you can go here. And Jussie has a post on changes in TVL. Solana down slightly. Sanctum has lost a little bit, nothing crazy though. Drift, similar. Meteorus up slightly. Sol layer, a massive increase over here. So this is a restaking layer, something that I know people are going to want me to look into. So I'll start to look into that. Whales market, not as much volume over here, but then again, there aren't as many new tokens being released. So I can understand that. NX Finance, similar to Adjustria Finance. So a little bit of liquidity's going in there. Camino slightly down. Parcel's gone down significantly, but I still like it. Zeta market, not as big as Drift. And Rainfi is still doing pretty well as well. On to HOLDIUM. So time is running out. A lot of people are going to watch this video and they're not going to register. I have no idea if HOLDIUM is going to do really, really well, but it's a new experiment. It's got, some cool ideas in terms of not rewarding people that sell. So I think it's worth at least getting the airdrop, register your wallets. Now you can actually buy HOLDIUM right now though. So even though the airdrop will begin on July 15th and you have until July 12th, they have actually created a contract, a liquidity address. So you can go and put tokens in and start to earn fees. So we can grab this contract address here. We can go to Bird Eye and we can plug it in. Of course, the majority of people are just going to wait for the airdrop. It's already done like a decent kind of pump up. But of course, in a week's time, there's going to be significant sell pressure. If you sell your token, you don't get any future tokens. However, if you take the tokens and if you put your tokens into the liquidity pool in order to increase liquidity and of course help generate fees for yourself and whatever, then you will still be eligible to claim the rest of your vested HOLDIUM. But we'll cover that when it's live. The actionable right now is go and register your wallet. Bonk has partnered with Flipster. So Flipster is something I've never heard of, but it's where you can trade derivatives. I don't know it, so I'm not going to say you should do that. Also, they've got two campaigns. One is the Bonk launch pool on Flipster. So you earn from $30,000 in the reward pool by staking Bonk and trading on Flipster. I would imagine that this would be more suited, it's starting soon. I think this would be more suited for people that have like a decent amount of capital. And it's a KYC exchange, so you'd have to, put a little bit of effort in. The thing that's probably better is this one. If you are good at memes, if you're going to create memes anyway, you may as well enter this. There's going to be 25 winners, $200 each. Gnarly Quinn has a thread on why they think $20 billion market cap for Bonk is possible. So Bonk's probably at like 2 billion right now, which would be, a decent, let's have a look. The market cap is just under 2. So if this went to 20 billion, if you had $1,000, it would be worth 10,000 or a little bit more. This will be linked below. I have told people many times why I'm bullish on Bonk, but basically this is about the ecosystem. It basically helped Solana, and if it didn't happen, I don't know if Solana would have survived. It's that important. 740,000 holders, really, really massive, and it has a whole lot of value. But the thing I want to show you is down below here, Sol Incinerator. I've shown this in a tutorial. You can go and use it. You can go and claim back your Sol. I didn't realize, but you can also swap that Sol to Bonk. So if you close vacant accounts, or if you burn scam NFTs, you can close this and you can get back some Bonk. There's a new experiment here from Drip. Follow us and drop your Solana wallet. However, make sure it's your wallet that you log in with Drip. Log in, do some things, and then let's see what this experiment actually happens. What happens with that? There's a new Blink generator out, or rather, yes, it's new, but it's also the first custom Blink generator. If you're into Blinks, check this out. And Keystone Wallet has been making quite a bit of headway on my feed. Now, I don't actually have a Keystone, and I mean, I'll probably get one to review, but no rush on that. Just Ledger is what I need to do tutorials on first. But some pretty cool things on Keystone itself is the fact that when you do a transaction, even though you need to be fairly savvy to understand what it's saying, when you're blind signing something, you can see it in a far better way. Now, this is an air-gapped wallet, so in some ways I prefer a Ledger, but for most users, an air-gapped wallet, it's kind of like where you can't deliberately sign transactions on the Ledger. You have to connect to like Backpack or Solflare. It's a little bit complicated, but they have a special on. You may be keen to buy one. Essentially, I'm seeing a lot more people starting to recommend this, and I do like the fact that it's open sourced. So if you're looking for a hardware wallet, you may want to watch some reviews. Ledger's still my favorite. Maybe it will be Keystone in the future. And now let's end with this. This is a sad image. It's taken out of context. I don't know the full context, but this is Say Labs and Aptos, and there's no one here. This is at ETHCC in Brussels. At least that's my understanding. It says Parallel Summit at ETHCC, Say and Aptos. And this is just a reason why I'm very bullish on Solana. When there's something related to Solana, people show up. These guys may have success in the future. I certainly hope they do. But at present, all they've attracted are people that just want to check into Twitter. Actionables, complete at least one swap in Solflare wallet every day till the 17th of July. Remember, there's $100 in just randomness going out as a prize, and there's a 15K prize at the end. Take some profits on the Sendcoin NFTs, not financial advice, of course, but they're doing quite well. Hold some if you're keen. If you had have got some of these like for free or in the early days, you would have made decent profit. They're certainly doing well. If you're holding stables, check out PYUSD Lend, join Discover, place some stink bids as per normal with Jup.ag, and check out Flipster and Bonk's meme competition. You can check out the trading launchpad thing as well, but I'm not going to be worrying about that. It's more about the meme competition if you're a great memer. Airdrop Actionables, D-Bridge, Cube Exchange, do the Drip one. Put your Solana wallet address under that. Must be your Drip Solana wallet because I may check it. And stake at least 20 million Bonk with bonkrewards.com. Just allows you some access to things in the future, potentially. And then register all your meme coin wallets with HOLDIUM. I have a referral link for HOLDIUM below as well. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.